Hello, everybody, and welcome to a conversation with artist Monica Sageman. She's exhibiting in the 7th annual Evanston Made members group show. Monica, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Lisa.
This is a fun opportunity for people to get to know the artist who are exhibiting since there wasn't an opening reception. So we're just going to ask you the same questions we ask everybody. But first, talk to us about the piece you have in the show, which is behind you. Nice.
So this piece was, suppose you can say, inspired by the 6 months from my experiences from the 6 months I spent in Australia last year. I didn't make art while I was there for that full 6 months. That's not really the way. I have a hard time making art while I'm out of my studio. So I upload all of the visual information that's around me and kind of stews, and I never know what's going to come out of it. So this was inspired by these gigantic, beautiful plants in the Adelaide Botanic Garden called cycads. I don't know if they're kind of, they have big fronds that come up out of the ground that are fern-like, but more like ancient fern fronds. So they're spiky. And in the middle, coming up from the ground, are these giant cones, like pine cones. And because I was there for such a long time, I was able to watch them from the time that the cones emerged, and through their full process of changing color and then seeding, which green cones turn into these beautiful, like red, delightful seed pods, and kind of like pomegranate, but giant.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And you've got, how big is this piece behind you? What's the dimensions?
3 feet by 4 feet. So 36 by 48 inches.
Gorgeous. So you had 6 months to download all the visual glory of Australia. And then you came back. So you mentioned it's hard for you to work outside your studio. Are you working right now? Are you in a studio? I know you were at Noise for a long time. What's that situation?
That's right. I'm back in Noise now on a limited basis. We're allowed to go in there it's open to us, I think, for 6 or 7 hours a day, masked up, tech, walking in the door. So it's very quiet. All the camps are shut down, so there's no kids running through the halls. It's a pretty quiet situation. But I'm back in the studio. We were out for about 2.5 months. And also during that time, I wasn't making art. I wasn't painting. I was creating in other ways. I kind of feel like I'm a creative person and I don't have to be painting to be making art. I spent the time at home gardening and cooking and moving furniture around.
And sheltering in you've been staying put in your house.
Right. It was just, serendipitous that this all came down in the springtime when I could be making art in my yard.
Right. So that is basically right. Your shelter in has enabled you to be creative, but not necessarily right in the studio. Talk to us a little bit about your journey to becoming an artist and when you use that title for the first time or phase of your life.
Gosh, I still have a hard time using that title.
That is, so many people say that.
I feel like everyone has an inner artist. Whether we choose to access that piece of ourselves is very individual. I as a kid, as a young kid, I never made art. I didn't come from an art making family. My parents were art lovers, music lovers, but not makers themselves. So I never took art classes or anything. And as a teenager, I was like a TV addict. And, you know, I'd come home from school, and in the afternoon after homework, I would just sit in front of vapid television and draw.
Ah,
And it was just like how I spent my time. I didn't really think anything of it. And then when I went to college, my freshman year, I took 2 art classes, and I realized I loved that more than anything else I was doing in college. So I transferred to the art school
nice.
and never looked back.
You pivoted and never looked back, and you've been right painting and drawing ever since, predominantly.
Mostly, yes. Yes. Given all opportunities, I choose painting and drawing. I work super intuitively. I need that immediate feedback. So art making practices that have process don't really suit me.
Mm,
I usually don't have a particular vision going into a painting or drawing. I just kind of let it take me.
nice. And before you're coming to a canvas or a new body of work, who or what are your inspirations?
I had just my experiences. I kind of dig deep into into all that stuff that I upload.
Mm-hmm.
I start with something, but I can't tell you exactly what moves me there. But I am driven by color. That is the thing that jazzes me the most.
Nice. Awesome. Monica, this has been such a great conversation. Thank you so much for your time today and for your beautiful work.
Thank you for having me, Lisa, and thank you.